Hello, geometry. I'm Mrs. Applegarth, and this is Chapter 4, Section 1, Congruent Figures. I want to start out by giving you the definition of what congruent figures are. Figures are congruent if their angles and sides are all congruent. So we have Mr. ABCD here and Mr. EFGH here. And we can say that they're congruent if all their angles and all their sides are congruent. When we list things that are congruent, if you look, A comes first here. Its matching angle, E, has to come first in the statement. So if we put A first, E has to come first. You can't mix up the letters here. B comes second, and its matching angle F also comes second. D comes fourth, but C comes third. Its matching angle G has to come third. D is our last angle. Its matching angle H has to come fourth. So how you may pick the easiest way is to go alphabetical and around the shape. If you start mixing them up and it doesn't make sense to go around the shape, then it's really hard to keep it squared away on the other side as well. I like to think of it like here, if I am going to match up this little guy, then I can see that A and E go together, B and F go together, C and G go together, and D and H go together. So if you were to lay the shape on top of the second shape, which letters will match up? Okay, so next is if H, I, J, and K is congruent to L, M, N, and O, what are the congruent corresponding parts? All right, so let's just, if we're given 4 letters, we can think of this in pretty easy terms. H, I, J, and K. We just make a little rectangle. H, I, J, K. And we have its matching buddy L, M, N, O. L, M, N, O. And so we want to find for each angle from our first figure, H, I, J, and K, what is the matching angle from the second figure? You can use the letters, purely the letters. So if you want to know who matches H, you can take the first one, or if you would like a picture, it's the one in the same position. So angle L matches up with angle H. Angle I matches up with angle M. Angle J matches up with angle N. Angle K matches up with angle O. All right, now we need to find the sides that match, and let me show you how you can use just the statement to find who matches. So if we're here, HI matches up with LM. The first 2 match up with the other first 2. And then we go to IJ, match up with, so we just keep going down the line. So IJ matches up with MN. JK matches up with NO. And KH matches up with OL. All right, so once we get all the angles squared away and all the sides squared away, we have listed all the congruent corresponding parts. All right, example 2, are these triangles congruent? So let's take a peek. Let's match up what we can. And we look, angle A has a little congruent mark. It is congruent to angle E. We know because it has the little rainbow there that matches them up. Okay, so B has this double rainbow and he matches to D. Angle C is this middle angle here, and we'll give him a triple angle. And we are going to say angle C is congruent to angle C because vertical angles are congruent. Excellent. Okay, now let's look at the sides. So AB matches up with ED. We know because they have this little congruent mark that say they match. So that's ED. Alrighty, so let's look BC. BC is 4 and DC is also equal to 4, so we can say that they're congruent. All right, CA is 6 and CE is also 6, so we know that they're congruent. Okay, so when we say, are the triangles congruent, we can say yes, all angles and all sides are congruent. That's our justification, period. Okay, let's look at the third angles theorem. And I'm going to cover this up for just a second. If two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another, then the third angles are also congruent. So this comes from, and I want you guys to write this down. We'll write it down later too, but the Triangle Sum Theorem. All angles in a triangle add up to 180. So you only need to prove that the first two angles are, the first two pairs of angles are congruent, because that third angle, because our triangle has to add up to 180, then that third angle is also going to be congruent. All right, so let's look at this little proof here. Angle A is congruent to angle D. They have that marked. Side AE, this one here, is congruent to side DC. EB, this is double guy right here, is congruent to CB. And BA is congruent to BD. All right, so the first thing we want in a statement for geometry is all of our givens. So we're just going to write down all of our givens. We've just went over it. Okay, the next thing we're going to say is that angle ABE KBE, which is here, is congruent to DBC, which is here, because they're vertical angles. Yay! Oh, I love vertical angles always come through in a pinch. Angle E is congruent to angle C by that third angles theorem, because we have A is congruent to D, ABE is congruent to DBC. So we have those two angles are already paired up. So this right here and these right here, we have two angles that are congruent. So we can say that the third set of angles, which is E and C, that they are congruent by that third angles theorem. And then once I have that declared, I can say that triangle AEB is congruent to triangle DCB, because that's the definition of congruent figures. Once you've called everything to be congruent, matched everything up, then you can say that the figure is congruent. Okay, we're going to use that property here to find the value of x. We have, I'll bring 60 degrees back. If all the angles in a triangle add up to 180, then we know that this little guy here, this triangle has 55 in this corner, 65 in this corner, and 60 in our other corner. We look at this triangle here, we know that these two angles are congruent, these two angles are congruent, so we can say that this third angle is going to be congruent as well. So 60 is going to equal 2x plus 30. And then we solve for x. So we're going to subtract 30 from both sides. We're going to get 30 equals 2x, and we're going to divide by 2. Da, 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 da. So we get x equals 15. All right, and that is lesson 4.1 today. Thank you guys for your time. Have a good one.